afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan. My name is Khalid Azari, president of this club. Glad to host today Ms. Warif Halabi. She's charged the affairs of the Embassy of Syrian Arab Republic in Tokyo, and she will tell us about the position of the Syrian government on the recent attack by the United States on what is allegedly considered a chemical weapon attack by Syria, and the United States attacked some military base in central Syria. Today's event will be conducted in English only. It's the official language of the press club, and we will have about 20 minutes or so presentation that will be followed by questions and answers. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest, Ms. Warif Halabi. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody, and really I'm very happy to see you, all of you, and thank you for coming, and thanks a lot for FCCJ to hosting me. Thank you, Mr. Khaldoun. It is a really very important time and very critical time, and I guess it is very important to speak about what we are facing, especially from the concerned government and concerned country. So I did distribute the note verbal we already distributed to all embassies relating our government official position with regard to what happened lately. So, in fact, the United States committed on 7th of April a blatant aggression against Syria. It was, this is illegal action. It is aggression because it is against the United Nations Charter. It is against the role of U.S. while they are a member of the Security Council. And we know the member of the Security Council should prevail peace and security of the whole world. So that such action, in order to be legal, as you know, should be based on two important conditions. First, it should be the Security Council acknowledge that such act is really threaten the peace and security of the whole world. And the second condition, also the Security Council should determine the mechanism based on the UN Charter articles from 39 to 50. Nothing happened like this. Only the United States decide, and they did such aggression without any coordination or legal decision from the Security Council. And this is why we are telling this is aggression from U.S. against the sovereign state. Syria is a member at the Security Council, the United Nations, and Syria is a sovereign state. And such action without any legal permission is actually aggression. We also want to say that such aggression, it came under the pretext of using chemical weapon. If the Syrian government really used the chemical weapon, does the United States have any concrete evidence about such information? From where they bring this information? Do they have any investigation whether it is based on the agreement? It is from the OPCW. It is the as you know, after Syria became a member at the OPCW, and after we get rid of all of our chemical weapons in 2014, there is agreement also. Syrian Arab Republic signed an agreement in 2015 in order to allow the UN OPCW joint investigation mechanism to go inside Syria and investigate on any action or any chemical weapon used. What happened? We haven't seen any request, and only US decide that the Syrian government use chemical weapon in Khan Sheikhoun or any other area. So this is why we are saying again, it is illegal for United States to say that their aggression based or their military strike is based on the use of chemical weapon by Syrian government. We did, relating to chemical weapon, we did send several times to this committee, joint committee, telling them that we have information about the terrorist group have a chemical weapon, and they did use it several times in many areas inside Syria. We have never received any investigation group in order to find out if there is a chemical inside Syria used by these terrorist groups or not. After we signed, and even before we signed this agreement. So who really feels sorry about what is going on? Is it United States and some other Europe's countries, or the Syrian government and Syrian people? We are victims. We should really have the full right to get rid of the terrorists inside Syria who are killing our people. It is not the US or any Europe country that have the right to do any military aggression action inside Syria in order to protect Syrian people. To speak about the reason behind such action, we should think about it. Why the United States did such aggression? Why the United States propose their accusation against the Syrian government? There is no reason, only to say that really they want to weaken our Syrian army. Our Syrian army who is fighting the terrorist groups. Our Syrian army who is trying to protect the Syrian people. They are following these terrorists. Everyone knows most of these terrorists are coming from outside. Most of these terrorists coming from around or more than 100 countries. So we should work with the Syrian government. We should work with the Syrian army. It is not only to try to find any accusation, to support any accusation, or to find any reason in order to hit the territory of Syria, or to find any possible way to weaken the Syrian army. This is our read for what is going on inside Syria. to speak about the coalition, the work of U.S. coalition, what they did. We have seen only the terrorist organization are spreading, especially ISIS, spreading and controlling more and more areas. We kept calling the international community to support the Syrian efforts. We haven't seen any improvement till we have the support came from the Russian, from the Iranian countries and some other supporting or friendly countries. This is what we should do if we want really to get rid of the terrorists inside Syria and from the whole world. We should work with the Syrian government. This is the international law. It is not only the case of Syrian state. It is the international law. And this is the Security Council information or resolutions based on all resolution related to Syrian case or relating to counterterrorism. We should work with the Syrian government. We should try to find the most possible way to get rid of the terrorist organization inside Syria. Even the Security Council resolution speaking about the peace, finding a peace solution for our case. It is articulated that we should find a political solution between Syrian negotiation, through Syrian negotiation. What we have seen, it is always a try to interfere, always a try to put pressure on these certain groups who are supporting them in order to find the trouble and not to bring any fruitful result to the discussion, whether it is in Geneva or it is in Astana. Even though we do support the peace talk between Syria and Syrian, and we will continue as we are deciding to continue our fight against terrorist organization, we will also continue our effort to find a political solution. So this is actually our response to the aggression by United States or the illegal base for their aggression against Syria. We are determined to continue our fight against terrorists, to free all areas inside Syria from these terrorists and to bring peace and stability to our people in all areas. We never use chemical weapons. Against any person, even against terrorist groups. And this is our government statement, and this is our position, and this is why we became a member on the convention prohibition of chemical weapon. But at the same time, we are insist to bring peace and stability to our area, to our country, based on our responsibility as a government to protect our people, and based in our international responsibility to counter terrorism, not only in Syria but also in everywhere. Thank you very much, and I will listen to your question and I will respond also to all of your concern. Thank you.
Thank you for your insights. I would like to open the floor to your questions and answers. If you have any question, please raise your hand and proceed to the mic here at the front. So, first question. All right. I think while you are Okay, while you are thinking, maybe I can place a question. So basically, you are saying that this attack on the military base in Syria is illegal and it's aggression by the United States. What is the damage to that military base as a result of the American cruise missiles? Do you have any account of the damage to this American base in central Syria? And do you have latest numbers? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Khaldoun. We should not only think about the number of the people, I would say. Definitely, according to the information, it is like 6 civilians killed by this aggression and many military people. But the idea is the big damage came from this aggression. It is in the center of our region. And the location is very important because this military airbase is against the terrorists. And if you follow the news, especially lately, the terrorists moving in the area around, the rural area around Hama, which is very close to this military base. And our military army achieve a lot of progress. And this is the reason why they want to weaken this important point. So because of a lot of achievement from our military army against the terrorists, especially the last months, let's say, especially in areas around Homs and Hama, we have seen such aggression. We always face the problem that when our military forces achieve a lot of progress, always the propaganda comes from Europe countries, from United States, try to support these terrorists in order, to stop the progress achieved by the government. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ken Moritsugu from the Associated Press. Thank you for coming today. I wanted to ask you about how you feel about Japan's position in this. As you know, Japan is an ally of the United States, and the Prime Minister has spoken with the President of the United States about this and made some comments. Do you feel you're getting support from Japan, or how do you feel about Japan's position since we're here in Tokyo?
Yeah. Thank you for this important question. Japan is, we do respect a lot the support we gain from Japan relating humanitarian assistance through the United Nations. But the issue is, we do expect from Japan more. Japan is really very important countries. It is important because Japan respects international law. Japan has very great history, always respecting international law, respecting the sovereignty of other states, try to solve all problems in very peaceful manner. And in addition, Japan has a very important morals. So try always to find the most possible way to prevail, like the stability especially in developing countries. And this is our history with Japan. But to be honest, to do more effective role, you should spread these morals outside of Japan at international level. You should work according to these principles. I mean, again, if Japan respects the international law, should not support any country breach the international law. If Japan respects the sovereignty of other states, Japan should not understand any action breach the sovereignty of other states. I really appreciate the Japan role, but we expect from Japan more than what we have witnessed especially during our crisis, since the beginning till now. Looking forward to have these morals and these values, Japan morals and Japan values, be more effective at international arena. Thank you.
Ken Joseph, writing for Gatestone. Could you, we're trying to understand exactly what happened. There's apparently great details. The Russians were notified 1 hour before it happened. The satellites have followed the planes coming back and forth. A drone came over, inspected it. 5 hours later, there was a bombing. So in the face of such great and very, these days, with satellites and drones and everything, the exact time the planes left, what time they arrived, correlated with what happened on the ground, plus the people from the site have been taken to Turkey and have been tested. So in the face of this pretty large body of evidence, what exactly happened from your perspective?
Yeah.
I mean, in other words, if it wasn't a bombing, how did all the people get gassed? And what precisely happened? What time? How? I think the biggest problem is we've never heard that from the Syrian side. So since the Syrian side has never given any kind of an explanation other than there was a warehouse that was bombed and gas leaked out, it's kind of laughable. So from your perspective, in order for the world to understand exactly what happened, what time, how did all these people get gassed, and it just seems a bit far-fetched that a warehouse blew up and the gas all blew over and, killed all these people. And then second, apparently the site was bombed 5 hours later. A drone came over, looked at it. 5 hours later, was bombed to conceal the evidence. I mean, it's pretty overwhelming. So in the face of that, what happened?
Thank you very much. To be honest, this is also the Syrian concern. We were very surprised because what we have seen only 2 days, for example, before this attack happened, we have seen the Secretary of State of United States and the Ambassador of United States saying that they want to work and cooperate with the Russian in order to find a political solution for Syria, and also it is not a priority, the U.S. priority to get rid of President Assad, and only to consider their priority to consider fighting ISIS, blah, blah, blah. And as a sudden, we have heard only the Europe, and the terrorist organization saying that Syrian government used the sarin or used the chemical weapons in that area, and immediately U.S. took their decision, and they decide based on this allegation that the chemical weapon was used by the Syrian government. What we have said, where is the investigation? What we should expect in such case? If really something happened in any country, okay, let's the Security Council do the job. So let's decide what is happened and how shall we proceed. Did they ask any committee to go and investigate what happened and who did this crime or nothing. So this is the idea why we are saying this is deliberate act against Syria. First, using chemical in Khan Sheikhoun to accuse the Syrian government and to give the ground for United States to do their aggression against Syria based on this allegation. So this is exactly what we want. We want to understand, we want to show the evidence. The document I distribute, the Syrian government immediately sent a request to the Security Council in order to hold a meeting, emergency meeting, to consider the situation, to condemn the aggression, and to find out what can we do. So in all cases, it is not clear for anyone, even for the Syrian government. Definitely we understand the reasons behind whether it is accusing the government of using chemical weapon or the reason behind of doing such aggression by United States against Syria. Sorry.
I'm sorry, but you're not answering the question. What happened?
This is the idea.
No, in other words,
okay.
If it wasn't a bombing and it wasn't a drone, then the problem is the Syrian government has never explained what happened from your perspective. In other words, was it a warehouse that blew up and the gas drifted off, or did nothing happen? Or please explain from your perspective, specifically, what happened.
Okay, the idea is they did say that it is from our airbase, military airbase. But at the same time, they did say, they did accuse, and this is the reason why United States also did bomb our military base. So the idea, who can decide it is from there? No, from our perspective,
what happened?
We did send many letters saying that the chemical came from Turkey to Idlib. From Turkey to Idlib. Idlib, it is very close to Turkey border, and nobody care about our letters or our information. So the chemicals is already inside Idlib, from Turkey to Idlib. Who facilitate always the access of these terrorist groups inside Syria? Who facilitate all logistic support coming from outside to inside Syria? All of this came from almost, especially to the north side from Turkey. So inside Idlib there is chemical weapons. It is by the hand of those groups who are in that area. So it is not Syrian government who throw the chemical against our people inside Idlib. So this is why we are saying we should know and we should understand the situation, but not based on any point of view. We should know the situation, exactly what happened, based on the concrete investigation, honest investigation, this unbiased investigation. And this has not happened.
Was there an explosion? What happened? How did you're not answering the question?
Yeah. So this is why I'm telling you, you should ask only the US, only the Europe, only the terrorist organization knows what happened inside Idlib area and who did this action, because it is only as a sudden the allegation came from their side accusing the Syrian government, but we know ourselves we haven't used it and we never use it and we will never use it.
So you don't know what happened? What happened?
This is why we are telling what happened is a deliberate act from terrorist Europe to give the chance for US. We know. We should ask, okay, is it the first time? Always United States try to find any reason to do something to achieve their agenda. So you should ask the whole crisis inside Syria, if there any legal or if there any understanding why it is going on such a critical time for Syrian people.
Okay, just last question.
Yeah.
Does the Syrian government not know what happened?
No,
What
we are saying,
happened?
this is what we are saying.
What happened?
It is deliberate act from terrorist groups and their supporters of Europe countries against Syrian
Was
government.
there an explosion? You know, how did the gas get to the people? for heaven's sake?
This is, I am telling you. So
Was it a bomb? Was it a leak?
you should ask them what they did
So you don't-
in order to accuse the Syrian
So the Syrian
government.
does not know? What
Come
happened?
on. I am telling you.
Tell us.
No, this is what I am telling you. I am telling you it is only to accuse. They use it only to accuse the Syrian government. Who is in that area? Come on. Who is in that area? How it happened as a sudden? Why they did immediately do all of this propaganda and then the aggression by United States? Is there any legal base for United States, even if it has happened? Is there any legal base for United States to do such aggression without permission from the Security Council? Definitely.
I-
It is in the hand of terrorist groups inside Idlib, and with the support of their of certain power outside.
So she's saying basically that terrorists inside Idlib city, north of Syria, close to the Turkish borders, they brought some chemical weapons from Turkey, and this was facilitated, according to her, by some other countries. And they blow it up.
They blew it up?
Yes, and they blew it up, and then they gave the pretext for the United States to attack Syria based on this explosion that Syria bombed this area by chemical weapons. That's what she said, and because there's no investigation, it's just can't be accepted. Thanks. Next question, please. Yeah. All right. So, okay, if I ask, do you have any question? Yeah. All right. Do you have any contact with the Japanese government after this incident?
Unfortunately, I don't have the contact. My problem here in Japan, to be honest, there is no the government of Japan doesn't want to have a direct contact with the Syrian government. And only relating humanitarian, but through the United Nations. And really, this is not the appropriate way, and it is not Japan who should follow or do this based on the history of Japan and based on the feature and moral and values of Japan. And this is why I always try to have a contact in order to clarify the situation, but it is only for humanitarian issues, but not for political issues. So,
thank you.
yeah.
Yes, next question. We have until 4 o'clock, so I don't want to keep asking myself. Yes? Go ahead, please.
I'm a staff writer of Yomiuri newspaper, Japanese media, and I want to ask one question in association with North Korea. Some people are thinking that military action was a strong message to North Korea that United States will not hesitate if that country make further provocations. As a Syrian, how do you think about such indication?
Sorry, the indication of
العمل العسكري ضد سوريا ورسالة إلى كوريا الشمالية. أمريكا لن تتردد ضرب كوريا الشمالية، ما هو رأيك بمثل هذا السؤال؟
According to also our history with the United States, so they are very keen, to achieve their agenda in our region. So if they want to really do any aggression or any military action against any other state, they will not start in Syria. We have a lot of evidence telling us that U.S., not only the previous U.S. administration, it is also the current U.S. administration. It is a concrete evidence what happened, this aggression against Syria. It is a concrete evidence that U.S. administration never changed. U.S. administration, especially in the Middle East, they want to change the whole Middle East to have their previous policy creating the new Middle East. Now they feel it is the time that they did manage to weaken all government in the area. It is not only Syria. We have witnessed in Iraq 2003. We have witnessed there also aggression in Libya. We have witnessed so many countries in the Middle East are facing a lot of difficulties. And now after Syrian also crisis, and after they did manage to weaken the Syria through these 6 years of international war, so they do believe it is the time to achieve their agenda. They want to redraw the border of the Middle East to achieve the big Middle East, what they want to do in our area. So this is, I guess, if they want to do any military action against North Korea, they will do it definitely. But Syria different from North Korea issues. Thank you.
Yes. Right. So, what do you mean, like Syria is different from North Korea?
I mean, for United States, so might for Japan, if they have a position like to understand the U.S. Procedures, or to understand the U.S. intention behind prohibiting the use of chemical weapon, I understand the main message might be for North Korea, or they want to have also the support of a United States against North Korea in case any action or military chemical weapon used against Japan. But relating the relation between Syria and United States, I guess it is not so close with the North Korea, because U.S. involved in our case since the beginning. So it is, to be honest, also since the occupation, the Israeli occupation of our land. So since then, we always face very critical relation with United States, especially Syria. Syria always against the Israeli occupation. Syria always against the intervention in internal issues or the foreign intervention in internal issues. Syria always against the foreign domination. So it is not our new policy. It is also policy since our late president. And this is the main reason behind the U.S. administration policy. So this is why it is not a new trend from U.S. Only to prepare for North Korea or any other country. No, but U.S. now find it is the most appropriate time to achieve the agenda, especially after the terrorist groups inside Syria lost a lot of their power, especially after the U.S. also noticed our great efforts in reconciliation efforts at local level. We achieve a lot of progress lately relating to reconciliation efforts. Many of our people who involved in military actions or terrorist actions, they did accept to give up their weapons and to settle their situation. So this is really very big achievement between Syrian and government. And this is why U.S. felt now it is really the time to do something to support the terrorist groups after the government weakened them a lot. Thank you.
Anybody? All right, Ken.
I'm sorry to keep asking the same question, but this is a really good opportunity for Syria, okay, to explain to the world, because the Syrian side has not been heard. Okay, it's
how,
so let me just
comes?
let me just look.
No.
I'm asking the question. Please wait. Okay, it's very simple. From the Syrian perspective, what happened? Either two things. For example, a warehouse exploded, or a bomb exploded, or has the Syrian government not investigated so you don't know? So, in other words, please help us understand. Okay, we want to understand your perspective, right? What happened? So, if the bombing, if the the prevailing view is wrong, then what is your view? For example, did a warehouse explode? Did some terrorists bring a bomb and throw it in there so the gas went out? Please explain to us what from your perspective happened, or if you don't know. It sounds like the Syrian government has not investigated themselves, and then I think you really have a problem. So we want to understand, from your perspective what happened. This is a good opportunity, but it still isn't clear what happened.
I guess you don't want to understand the Syrian government, really, because what is going on, as I told you, it is intended to put a Syrian government in very terrible situation. And this is exactly what we are asking. We need to know what is going on, and we need to know the reason behind this. So it is for us very clear. It is for us very clear.
What happened?
This is from terrorist groups. They did use the chemical weapons in order to let the United States commit such aggression. Very clear. I am sorry, really, but if you don't want to understand the situation or to listen to the Syrian government, to find out, so do you think if you don't understand such situation, and we did say that this is really, we should know exactly what happened and who did use these chemical weapons and what is the reason behind it changing all U.S. policy as a sudden, only few, like 2 days before doing such aggression against Syria. So this is why, instead of asking in such situation, instead of asking what happened or where is the responsibility of Syrian government, I would say you should raise your voice and say we should know exactly what happened. In this case, as I told you, according to the agreement signed in 2015, we should have investigation. We should have unbiased investigation and honest investigation in order to know what happened in that place and what is the reason behind that. Thank you. I understand, sorry. It is not very difficult for me, but this is what I am telling you. So this is very clear for us, and I will not speak about this anymore because this is an accusation in order to put the government in difficult situation and to give the chance for US to do the aggression. So Syrian government never used and will never use it against any people, any Syrian people in any area. So, and under any circumstances. So you should ask who used it. You should ask these terrorists, and you should ask the supporter of these terrorists. Thank you.
Thanks. Next question, please. Yes.
Hi, thank you, Ambassador. And I'm from TBS, Tokyo Broadcasting Systems. And my question is, how do you picture a sustainable future for Syria, or all of the Syria, after this first military intervention of the United States? It's like, it seems the attack made the situation even more difficult and complicated. So how do you picture the sustainable future? Explain please concretely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, it is if it is internal issues between Syria and Syrian, it is easy for the Syrian government to solve the problem. I mean, you can find a solution. You can, through the dialogue, you can find a solution. But when it is international terrorism, when it is supported by so many regional and international powers, important powers, it is really very difficult to find a solution. So our government doing their utmost efforts, first to protect our people, so they are fighting terrorist groups inside Syria. Second, to participate on all international efforts to find a political solution and to do reconciliation effort between Syrian and government inside Syria. But at the same time, is it enough? When we are committed to fulfill our responsibility based on our constitution or our responsibilities based on the international obligations. In both cases, we need other countries involved in our case also to commit to their responsibilities. I mean, all counterterrorism resolutions and resolution to Syrian case call in all international community to dry the resources of the terrorist groups. I mean, to stop, for example, to control the border, to stop funding these terrorists, to stop allow the mercenaries terrorist, extremist people to come inside Syria. We have a huge border between Syria and Turkey. Can we control from our side only the border? Definitely it is very complicated, especially in our case. Most of our areas on the north, it's very difficult areas because it has a border with Turkey. So our problem came from Turkey. This is why if Turkey government doesn't commit to their responsibilities relating to counterterrorism, especially resolution 2254 and 2253, which related to counterterrorism and dry its resources, and 2254 relating to create the good ground for peace talk, for peaceful resolution, political solution between Syria and Syrian without international intervention. This is what we are facing. So by ourselves, it is very difficult. We need also the cooperation of international community. Saying we are fighting terrorists without cooperating with the concerned government of any country, this is very difficult to find a solution. So, but in all of this case, we are insist on fighting terrorist groups inside Syria. We are insist in freeing all of our territories from these terrorist groups. We are insist on finding political solution among Syrian people. So it is not up only to our government to find a solution for the crisis, but we are insisting on finding the political solution for the interest of our people. And definitely, at the end, our people will decide. In all cases, the political solution, as it is in the Security Council resolution, should be through the dialogue between Syrian and should be decided. The future of Syria should be decided also with Syrian. But again, the Security Council resolution 2254, it is also said that the dialogue should be between Syrians themselves, and the terrorist groups are outside of such discussion or dialogue. The terrorists should not decide the future of Syria, only the Syrian people. And this is why we are working hard on reconciliation efforts also inside Syria to bring Syrian all together as they were. Syria, the age of Syria, more than 7,000 to 8,000 years. We never faced such a critical problem. We always live together. We have many sects inside Syria. We have many religions inside Syria. We never face. When it happened, when in Sykes-Picot agreement, and after the France also came to Syria and tried to divide Syria based on sectarian, we did refuse. And during that time, we have the revolution, the real revolution, against achieving the agenda of France to divide Syria based on ethnicity. Now U.S. and some of these Europe power, like definitely UK and France mainly, want to achieve again this agenda. For whom? Who is benefiting from this situation? Definitely US, because definitely Israel and US supporting Israel. And this is why US is involving in our crisis. So I really didn't speak about our crisis from the beginning because it takes hours, not only half an hour. but this is the background. You should really think about the situation. It is not only, threatening Syrian people. We have seen the ISIS and other terrorist groups are spreading outside Syria, and they will really became a big threat for the whole international community. If really they did weaken the Syrian government, who will control Syria? Do you think US will bring a good leader working for the interest of Syrian people inside Syria? Definitely not. We have seen Iraq, we have seen Libya, we have seen so many other examples. So the main idea in our region is to weaken all government, especially Syria. Syria, because we are working with Iran and Hezbollah in Lebanon against the Israeli occupation, against the interfering in other state internal issues, we are suffering and we are facing all of these difficulties. This is our principles relating to international policy, Syria international policy. We are against all foreign occupation. We are with the people for self-determination, to decide their future, and also to have the right to stay in their home and to have the right to return, especially for Palestinian people. Our land is occupied by Israel. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think this wraps up our press event. Thank you for coming. I would like to extend to you, because you are already a member of this club.
Thank you.
We extend you this gift.
Thank you
for your
very
coming
much.
today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Warif.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming today, and have a nice evening. Thanks.
Thank you.